best of 7 between two absolute legends, players who have held so many matches against each other. It's really a StarCraft 2 Korean classic, as in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player is INnoVation. And in the top right, our red Zerg is soO. Sadly, it might be one of the last times we ever see soO. At least for me, in terms of casting him, because he played his final season of GSL. He is going to the military soon. And that means this might be the last time I ever cast him. It might be his last ever INnoVation soO. So, I just want to say, shout out to soO for all the amazing games he's given us over time. I believe he did actually just mention it. I saw a tweet yesterday that said soO says he's planning on returning after the military. That would be awesome, but hey, that's 18 months away, 20 months away, so we'll be seeing soO maybe in 2022. Just want to say, though, soO really did give us so many great games over the years. He's been a staple on my channel. You know, he's one of the players that really plays a lot of the events that I run. You know, he really plays a lot of these tournaments that we put on, all that kind of stuff, so it's always a pleasure to cast him. It's always great to have him around. He's just been one of those awesome guys to cast, so hell yeah, soO. Thank you so much for being here and being such an awesome Zerg player, of course. As we get into this best of 7. If you're watching this one on the YouTube and you're a little bit sad that this might be the last time you see soO, well, you can make yourself happier by clicking the thumbs up like button, and then you can be like, I like this. Or click the dislike button if you don't like it. Or wait till the end of the video and then make your decision. But don't forget to click, it helps us out a whole bunch. And don't forget as well that subscribing to our channel helps us so much. We're pushing toward 30,000 YouTube subscribers. So if you enjoy what you hear and you want to hear more daily StarCraft 2 casting, hit that subscription button. It's free, it's easy, it's simple. SCV is off and away to the upper right-hand side of the map. So away we go for INnoVation, heading on up to the upper side. Off on a little bit of an adventure in the early stages here for sure. So yeah, kind of looking to see what's up. There's a couple of queens, a few lings on the way out, Reaper building and a factory. Very standard start to this game so far, not really much to shout about. We'll watch the Reaper go across because that's the most exciting thing happening in the first couple of minutes here on Pillars of Gold. That's going to head up to the top right side of the map for now. So Reaper on its way to the upper side. Ling speed building from soO as mentioned before. Couple of queens on the way out. Couple of drones are coming up as well. And yeah, this Reaper going to get all the way through up this ramp. And queen and lings kind of just joining up together to kind of fight this off as well. The Reaper does back away. 3 CC from INnoVation. Yeah, we're going to start this off with a nice little macro game. Apparently going into 3 command centers. A lot of kind of economy behind this. Really just building up for that. Okay, I'm a fan. I'm excited about this. You know, definitely I think this is the kind of game I want to see about with INnoVation versus soO, right? Some deep, long game TvZ, and that's really what this maybe gives us, unless soO decides to drop a road drawing down in the next 30 seconds or so and to go across the map with that. Not an impossibility. How much gas he's mining? Just the 1, so probably not going to happen then. For some reason I felt like he was still mining with 2, just looking at the bottom of the screen, but not really the case. Alright, well, as the third hatchery sets up on Pillars of Gold, we do just have the link speed about to complete, and a couple of Hellions from INnoVation going to be popping out and going across the map in a moment as the starport will build a Viking. Doesn't go to that tech lab or anything, so that means we're going to see a pretty fast stim here from INnoVation. Unless he goes Viking into a Banshee or something, but that would be a little bit unorthodox. As the Hellions arrive and they save the Reaper. Nice little catch. Able to push that away back up to the top side. That's a really nice catch, actually. Really well done. INnoVation going to push that back then as Feelings backing away. A couple more queens coming up in production, and INnoVation trying to move around to the left-hand side there. Viking pops out. The tech lab on the factory. Another barracks on the reactor. Another barracks off to the side as well. Also going to get started. So we're going to see 3 racks in total. So nice quick, just the 3 racks. It was that stim pack, and then Starport's building a reactor, which I imagine is just going to be for this barracks. I don't think you want to build medevacs this early. So then Starport will build its own reactor after this, at my best guess. Oh, nice little supply block on soO, though. Obviously, whenever you see somebody losing an overload like that, the supply block's actually quite nice. Doesn't last forever, but just those few moments where drones could have already started, right? It's 4 drones that could have been 10, 15 seconds sooner. Little Evo from soO is just going to go strong melee upgrades right from the get-go. Obviously not a fast layer at all, so not going to dive right into the Spire. And INnoVation has apparently forgotten he built engineering bays, or he doesn't want to build his engineering bays or upgrade from the ones in the front. So hopefully he realizes that, because that's currently 250 minerals, which is just unnecessary waste. Well, yeah, that's less than ideal. So INnoVation with the quadruple engineering base strategy here. There's only so much you can upgrade off engineering base, guys, though. I mean, I want to believe it's... I want to believe there's something you can do with this, but there really isn't. 2 Hellions go down, trading out for creep tumors. I mean, there was only 4 Hellions to begin with, so it's not like the Hellions were a major part of this, but arguably then even more important that you keep those 2 alive because there's so few on the map. That could have maybe been a way to look at this as well, as INnoVation around the top side is going to be moving over, and it's going to be seeing our 1-1 upgrades of soO on the way on the evolution chambers, so getting those up and running. How's that Baneland Nest finishing up here? The Spire's about to drop down. And we do have the 4th hatchery off to the right as well. Lings and Queens are going to pick their way through the set of rocks here on the front. The Viking of INnoVation down the left-hand side. Couple of medevacs loading up a good chunk of Marines. And they are going to get taken out through to the right-hand side. The Viking continuing along as well, and yeah, with these Marines unloading in a few moments, going to go for a bit of a push into this right side, in toward this 4th base. These Marines actually going to just boost by, maybe go toward the main base in a few moments. Actually gets back out of there. Alright, well, no pressure really achieved from Inno. The thing is, these drops aren't really meant to be dropping mineral lines anyway. They're kind of meant to go more toward the creep spread. But obviously the creep spread right now is just being left alone. He's going to get the creep on the right side, which is generally where 5th base comes up, so slow creep down here can be useful as well. I'm just worried that there's going to be creep everywhere. Like, you know, so many different paths of creep are starting to open up. Clearing this out is going to be like a game-long kind of challenge and chore for INnoVation at this stage. It's not finding a way in, so that's one good thing for INnoVation here. Good defense against the attempted run by is saves the Marines as well. Getting a couple creep tumors. Like I say, there's just creep kind of everywhere though. And the problem right now is that this creep is so far forward, the Queens have a long time to come in and replace creep in a good position before it recedes heavily. Sono gets his 2-2 upgrades about to come on through. Oh, well, you know, soO will never realize. Maybe this is the plan, right? This is the meta game. soO is like, oh my god, you've got double engineering bay. Then he's going to check. He's like, you're only doing 1 upgrade. He's like, oh, I'm going to have an upgrade lead. He's messed up. And then soO picks a fight he's not meant to take because he thinks he's got an upgrade lead. But surprise, the other engineering bay in the back is upgrading. It's 200 IQ from INnoVation. He's just thinking like 5 steps ahead of everybody else. I think he was thinking 5 steps ahead of himself, even. What a legend. What a play. Obviously, just kind of funny to see that he actually ended up hotkeying those other engineering bays as well. I don't actually know if I like these ones anyway. I was about to say, like, maybe they're actually safer than the ones in the front, so you may as well just upgrade from the back. But actually, against mutas, maybe these ones are in more trouble anyway. You know? Infestation Pits just finished up as well, so we do have a movement toward Hive in the next little while, as mutas are going to loop around the left. Has been very passive, right? Like, look at what's been lost. 17 Lings, 2 Hellions. Obviously, INnoVation had that drop on the map that he controlled well to keep it alive. The mutas take that drop potential away, though, so now it was just kind of sat at home, but even the mutas haven't really made a dive in anywhere. As 2-2 upgrades finish, maybe soO will try a fight. He's going to start running toward the 3rd base, it seems, but he's in sensitile range. Okay, here we go. He's going to run down this ramp, and we're going to get the fight. He comes in from a couple different angles. I mean, I like the Thor. I like the tanks in the front. Definitely good for tanking here. Widowmine shots, actually, don't get as many Banes as I thought they might, but a few Banes went off to the side and hit on just a couple Marines, so it was okay for INnoVation in the end. When you look at what was lost, suddenly you lost 100 Lings, 14 Banes, a few mutas. Resources loss is heavily in INnoVation's favor, so It did kind of feel like that was going to be the case. The first few Banes really didn't crash effectively. Didn't feel like we had like one big chunk of Marines going down at all. So good fight for INnoVation. The only positive really for soO in that fight is that I guess the tanks were kind of taken out and the Thor was taken out. There's not a lot of splash damage in the game. Only one Widowmine. He's building 2 Thors at once INnoVation right now. So he's actually not even looking for kind of splash damage. There's that one Widowmine. He gets a Mutalisk kill before it gets taken down. So yeah, now your splash damage in this game is like a single defensive siege tank on the 3rd base. And then you're not really, I mean, the Thors do splash, but not to the ground. And that's what I'm talking about, right? You know, dealing with the Banelings and the Lings. Specifically the Banes. You want to try and splash those Banes down so that there's not many of them able to actually strike into your Marine clusters. Now 3-3 stops from soO as well. So with the control of the map, he feels safe enough to have gotten that hive up nice and quickly. Straight to 3-3. No delays at all. Couple Widowmines out here. Get burrowed up. Leaving the Thors in the front to tank. The thing is, if the Thors are in the front, you can't really bring the Mutas forward into the fight. But now, the Thors go down, and suddenly the Mutas can give chase. And there was too much Ling Bane for the Bio to keep on fighting. So, bit of a disjointed attack. Felt like those Thors didn't really do that much. Widowmine is, I've got no idea what it's going to do. They actually do pretty well. I was afraid they were going to target fire down the Marines. But they actually managed to target onto Lings that were stuck in the back. So it works out pretty well. The Mutas will disengage. It was actually a better trade from INnoVation again, so that might bring him back into this. But boy, I mean, soO owns every base on the map that's meant to be his, right? He has his half of the map set up against a 4-base INnoVation, so he's 3 bases up with 97 workers. So he can mine from these bases as well. His economy is just out of this world right now. I think this is extremely problematic, in all honesty, as we're going to see the extra Banes morphing in. The Mutas still moving around the middle of the map. Couple of extra Thors on the way out. INnoVation getting a command center in the front as Thor shots are good, putting some damage onto the Mutalisks. Sensor tower gets picked off as well, and the Mutas of soO going to go back around into the center. Ling Bane army from soO out around the right-hand side. Adrenal Gland is going to be complete, and Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. And this Bioforce from INnoVation is still just pushing up around the center. It's going to continue to make its way up to the top side of the map. Here we go. Ling Bane Muta going to start flying through. Widowmines don't actually go off. One of them goes off toward the end here. As the Bio tries to split away, man, a lot of Banes got in. soO's going to rebuild. Like, this was a supply deficit for soO coming out of this, but he's going to rebuild into Ultras as well. And the Ultras really do have even more potential to just run in, trade out, rebuild, and go again. It's just going to be a stronger way of doing it. And right now, it doesn't seem like INnoVation has the chance to get up to Liberators or Ghosts or anything that's really useful against those Ultras. I mean, the Thor's actually okay against them. The Marauders are obviously really good against them. So it's good that he does have those mixed in. It's not like this is pure Marine tank just trying to fight suddenly Ultras showing up. But I just don't like the phase of the game it's getting to for INnoVation, because like, he's fighting to take a 5th base, and soO is just everywhere. And this 5th base is the new, it's the new target. It's the new kid on the block. He's going to get picked on because, what's there to protect it? Really, absolutely nothing at all. Well, tanks getting sieged up. Widowmines are going to blow up a little bit as well. The Ultras keep on running through. These Thors just don't do enough, right? There's not enough support for the Thors against the Ultras. This is nice, though. Sim up the right side. I don't think there's anything over here, so soO has to relocate to get over here to fight this. I mean, INnoVation going to chase in for all of these drones, so a lot of these drones should go down. He gets 11 of them before the Lings show up, and he will clean out the Lings initially, too. It's the Ultras showing up that are going to be the real problem here. Sims once more. He should be able to just lift up and leave from this, though. And he gets out. 14 workers killed. Hatchery goes down. INnoVation finds a win on the map, and that's exactly what he needed. And a moment of the game where it was necessary, he is able to find it, and now Mutas come in, and that's going to be a dead medevac. And these other Marines getting chased down as well, so a whole bunch of Marines continuing to fall. The medevac empty now. I mean, that's the problem, right? Once the Mutas catch up with these drops, they just aren't effective anymore. It's all well and good lifting up and running away from Ultras, but if the Mutas are lying there waiting, medevacs may as well be saying goodnight anyways. Lings and Ultras continue to chase through the siege tank, helping to protect this 5th base. I mean, where does soO want to go? A few units around the right side. Well, that is a planetary fortress setup, so not sure you can really break into that all too easily as soO comes barreling in yet again. Has a bank to rebuild off of this once more. The meter count here is terrifying because if there's no Marines left over, these meters are just going to dominate. There is a few Marines left over, enough Marines left over apparently. soO has to back away yet again. Trying to remax out, but also getting supply blocked is not going to help his cause. Now soO actually can't max out right away, and that slows down the next wave of attack and gives INnoVation more time to remax himself. So that's a costly error. In the end, soO will want to be a bit more careful about getting hit into those supply blocks. But mine takes a shot onto the meters. Nice little connection. Rest of the Lingbane from soO moving around. You're gonna see the Overseer setting up as well. Again, a few ultras coming through. The +3 flyer attack upgrade on that Spire coming in as well. And all of these meters down the right side to get a couple Marines already. Again, our bio army of INnoVation getting set up. A changeling goes down right away. A couple creep team is picked off also. And down the bottom right. Nothing happening just yet. Okay. Extra ultras still just on the way up. The extra banes coming through. With that flyer attack upgrade as well. Nice little surround here as long as the ultras get the planetary fortress. Rest of the Bioforce showing up. As Amuna's going to come through, soO is going to try and shut down another base. And obviously, I mean, INnoVation. The problem is he's stuck on kind of Widowmine tank. He's kind of praying and hoping that soO just keeps on trading into him badly. The problem is soO is set up to do that. As long as INnoVation doesn't get off 4 bases, soO can trade badly anyway. So INnoVation's game plan kind of falls apart. He kind of needs to hope soO loses the fight big time and he gets a base up. The problem is I don't see how this army helps him get a base up because this is just what's going to happen. And this is actually a bad fight for Inno. A lot of ultras remain alive on the tail end of this, so they're going to stay alive and INnoVation doesn't even stay in the game any longer. He's bullied back into a corner. He can't go anywhere. And soO just has too much stuff, too many drones, too many units, too much creep on the map. soO took control of this game early. He's starting to take INnoVation's bases. And INnoVation just says, you know what, I'm wasting my time here. It's a long series ahead of me. Let's get into it. We're going to Submarine for map number 2. As in the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player is INnoVation from KaiZ Gaming. Taking on the red Zerg in the bottom right from the Afrika Freaks. This is soO. So Submarine is kind of a weird map to see come up in a series. And the reason it's showed up here so early on is because this is a best of 7 and you don't get vetoes in a best of 7. In a best of 7, you don't get vetoes, you get just map picks, right? So what I imagine happened is game number 1, soO picks Pillars of Gold, nice open map, open third bases. You know, not the biggest map in the world, but still good enough to play a style on, worked perfectly, right? I imagine this is INnoVation's map pick because, well, Submarine is typically a bit of a Terran-favored map. It's small, it can split map pretty easily, but split map in a way that's beneficial for the Terran. And obviously the pushes are just deadly because they move out and they arrive on the Terrans on the Zerg side of the map so quickly. That's the real strength of it. If you can survive some of the earlier pushes, I actually don't mind it that much for Zerg. You've got a top and bottom and middle of the map to run by in. Some of the outer bases can be a bit weird to hold on to for the Terran player. They don't have amazing drop potential. The biggest issue really is just the fact that the Terran pushes just arrive so quick, the reinforcements arrive quickly, and that obviously does, you know, give the Terran a pretty good advantage on this early on. Like I say, if you can weather that storm, then you can really just, you can actually get into a pretty okay spot, and we've seen it plenty of times in, you know, when we have seen Submarine and TvZ go to a later kind of split map scenario. As you go into our second map here, and yeah, that's the explanation on the map. We'll get into this game number 2, and we look to see what will be happening next as an SCV continues to the lower right-hand side. So it's going to go running down to the bottom right-hand corner. A hatchery coming up, gas in the pool behind it. Reaper is about to pop out as well, so we're going to get that Reaper out, a Marine in production. 2 Queens and 4 Zerglings are already on the way up here from soO. So getting those underway already. We do have this Reaper of INnoVation continue now down to the bottom right-hand corner. So away we go, Reaper's away. And it's going to go for a little bit of a hunt to see what it can find out, what it can get up to. As it goes all the way down this right side. A couple of Lings moving forward, a drone taking a hit, and just going to be seeing those Zerglings taking some hefty damage in the early stages. One Ling goes down, make this a second in a moment. There it is, a third one, bye-bye. This is an amazing start from INnoVation. He's just killed 3 Zerglings at the start of the game. That was not a successful Ling versus Reaper fight from soO in the slightest. So that was not great. That was far from ideal. As you have this Reaper actually coming back in and will actually chase the Ling. Doesn't quite get the kill on it though. As the starport on the way in the main base. Couple Hellions now already on the way out. So very standard here from Inno. It is double gas. Very small map. Very likely to see roaches a lot of the time. So it doesn't make any sense to play a 3cc here on Submarine. Makes much more sense to set up into just that starport earlier. Maybe even Hellion Banshee can be good on this map just to help you defensively in some of the earlier stages of the game. Can definitely be a big positive as the Reaper is going to be kept pushed out to the left-hand side. Now, 2 Hellions move on through from INnoVation, so they're going to be heading down the bottom right-hand side of this as well. So Reaper and the 2 Hellions join together. A couple of Queens show up, and well, obviously the Reaper and Hellions are scared away once more. Cloak is coming up. I'm just going to be seeing Queen, couple of Lings, the hatchery. All of this getting up and running as that's a nice grenade. Take off a creep tumor already. That gets taken down. Hellions and a Reaper around the right side trying to stay in the opening. Here's that Banshee that I mentioned. Like I said, just it really is safe. On a smaller map like this, it just keeps you so safe. Wow, he goes very aggressive off the back of this though. Armory, so it's going to be a Hellbat Banshee attack. But that, I mean, the Hellbats, they also help against some of the aggression, because obviously Hellbats are better than Hellions in some of these fights. But obviously the main intention here is to get forward, get aggressive, and then transition behind it. So that's our plan. As the Queen showing up, pushing a couple of Hellions back, the few Lings out through the natural, and well, they actually go toward the third base initially. So the Hellions moving on through, the couple of Marines picking away at the Overlord. So Overlord is going to get taken down in just a few moments. It will fall. Will drop. So Overlord drops down dead. All of these Hellions into the middle of the map. The Queen's coming through and just going to be putting some damage out. Hellions get into Hellbat mode and again pushing forward, looking pretty good at the moment. You see these other Lings showing up as well. Mostly these Banshees having a pretty good time, doing a pretty good job of this. I mean, there's a lot of Queens that go down, and losing your Queens is obviously pretty expensive. The grenade almost helped the Hellbats get back in position there. I didn't mind this, right? Like, you're trading out units for units, but the thing is, Queens are a very expensive unit to have. Yeah, they're only minerals, but they're minerals that could otherwise be drones. So it does slow down a lot of the creeping potential on the map. I think it's okay for INnoVation, who is obviously fairly safe back at home, now taking a 3cc. That's one of soO's benefits, that INnoVation was not on 3cc before now. Okay, maybe that third is a bit late. If this third was a bit early, I wouldn't mind that in the slightest, right? For sure. You know, sometimes when you go for this kind of setup, you can have a third a bit faster than this, I think. Not sure about the Hellbat Banshee. It's been a long time since this was really a build, so I'm not 100% sure on those timings, but it's obviously later than if you just go like Hellion Banshee and you take like the third at 4 minutes. This third obviously went down at like 4:30, 4:45, so probably more 4:50 actually, so yeah. Something to watch out for. Banshee gets taken down, but he gets a Queen in the process and will pick up another drone to the right side of the mineral line. His 2 Queens get up in the main, the other couple Queens in the natural. I'm very worried about this Banshee as Queens get some damage onto it. It escapes and slips up the right. And that's about to finish up here. Melee upgrades coming in as well. More drones in production. That Banshee is yet again around that right-hand side with the hatch on the 4th base. So taking that hatchery already. Real nice around for these Lings on these rocks. I mean, very pretty, very cool. Great commentary. talking about rocks dying. That is a nice surround on the Hellions. See, they practiced on the rocks and they turned it into a Hellion surround. Cleans up the final Hellions on the map. That's always nice, especially when the armory's in play, because if they morph into Hellbats, they can still tank some Bane shots in a fight and really power up the initial Terran push. Once more, I'm a little bit afraid for INnoVation with all of this creep coming up. I mean, in 3 different pathways, he's going to have creep very far forward, pressing past the middle of the map now. I mean, he's about to hit 1-1, which is going to be his first push timing of this game. Equal on upgrades just as the Zerg is about to build a whole bunch of mutas. Of course, they are not the greatest fighting units. So to not get any harassment off those initially would be problematic. Obviously means INnoVation will keep them at home when they first show up. Oh my god, well, these Lings just show up, so maybe INnoVation will not, because the Zombie's just going to get here for this fight. Banes run in. And the Banes don't reach the Marines. There's one tank in the back that's actually doing a lot of damage. This tank has 10 kills on it, and you can tell why. Because he was just sat back there killing off the Banes, and I actually think that tank was the MVP. Because the 2 tanks in the front really didn't do much. They did absorb a few Bane hits. If that tank wasn't in the back, I actually think INnoVation just loses the entire army there, and that is that. Done is done. But yeah, he keeps himself alive. No splash damage now as he moves forward, though. This is only 5 barracks, by the way. Keep an eye on what he builds next. 2 more gases coming up, so I imagine it's a 4th base and a 2nd factory. Rather than going up to 8 racks and just being hyper-aggressive all in, which is very possible on a smaller map like this one. Has to lift and leave because, unfortunately, he didn't get all the target fire on those Balins that he initially wanted to. He's now going to drop back into this. There's only so many Banes. He actually gets the split from the Medivacs unloading, so even then the tank actually tanked a few shots as well and hits 3 or 4 Banes very easily nowadays. As INnoVation going to try and chase down for a queen kill, but they get on the creep and they speed up so much. He still gets one of them. Glad you find the new Morphin Banes. This is problematic for soO. He's only got Lings and Mutas on the map. Lings and Mutas are terrible against Marines. You need the Balins. You need to force these Marines to split back away. You need something to threaten them. So without the Banes, the next fight could be scary. There's even now only 2 Banelings on the way. A lot of the money's got into Mutalisk. So 9 Banes now finally coming up, and that should be enough. And I don't think INnoVation has really struck before it's a major issue. Well, soO is going to fight, though. There's only 2 Banelings. They are somehow going to get through. They actually get a decent connection, but the Marines have slaughtered the Zerglings already. And INnoVation is going to keep pushing forward. His army supply heavily in his favor. Yeah, I mean, that was questionable at best. There's that 2nd factory and 4th base we mentioned as well. So is making that transition into a later stage setup with more splash damage production, more mining available. Is not looking to end this game on 3 bases. He's got drilling claws as well coming up, so you may even make that switch away from tanks into, of course, the Widow Mines, which is why I said splash damage in general, because continued tank production is quite rare once these mutas get on the map. You know, 1 or 2 more now I can understand, but as time goes by, the Widow Mines are generally going to be a better addition to this army. soO gets hit into a supply block, is going to double up even as he gets this hatchery lost. He does fight on the back side, but again, where are the Banelings? The Banelings just never seem to be around. There's just never any of them ready to go. That's kind of a big issue, because I think with Banelings, a lot of these fights would have looked very different, but obviously I'm pretty. soO's got money in the bank that he can't spend either. He has got the lava. He spends on Lings, but even then he's still in a bit of trouble. He's also supply block too, and it's all the little things coming back to kind of bite soO right now. soO's really a great mechanical player, but in this game his mechanics fell apart for sure, and definitely haven't been quite as crisp and clean as they maybe wanted to be. Rio's coming in, those Medivacs taking some extra shots. Now down the bottom side, our Marines getting extra creep tumors once again. 4th base is setting up. What can the mutas do on the counter? There's a very minimal amount of missile turrets so far. Oh my god, no, no, no. Widow Mines are right here. They're going to go off, and hits the Lings, hits the mutas. I mean, these mutas are hurt, and it's not going to take a lot to start cleaning them up, but the lot isn't out right now. Even if you fly over a missile turret, though, that's a problem. Now the core's going to pop out. Doesn't get a shot off, though. INnoVation is going to ward those away. I feel like soO's fortunate to get out of there with so many mutas alive. A few more Marines around could have been a very different story right from the get-go. Mutas back down through the center. We still do have INnoVation. Over the right-hand side, the Lings, Pains, mutas continuing through to try and counterattack. And I mean, I don't blame him for going for these counterattacks, because I don't think a straight-up army engagement is the way to play this anymore. INnoVation has so much at home anyway. He's a bit out of position, yes, but he can just turn around into it, and he's got a DPS to just kill the Banes before they reach his army, right? That's kind of a sign of where we're at right now. He's losing a lot of SCVs, but obviously he's going to start killing bases because this is the entire Zerg army. So the only reinforcements to show up defensively are going to be Lings. They're not going to be able to fight this. The mutants do turn home to try and come help with the cleanup, but this base already goes down. He's going to lose the Baneling Nest. Obviously, that speaks for itself in terms of how troubling it is. I'm talking all game long about how he needs Banelings more often in these fights. So not having a Baneling Nest means that this is the last set of Banes for a while. There's no other Bane Nest, though. Is there? No, there isn't. So yeah, this is the last set of Banes for a while. And that for sure is a problem as INnoVation. Heavily supply blocked himself. Another thing I'd say about INnoVation is he never really got 3-3 upgrades started. And again, those are little things that could have made the later stages of this game easier, even if they wouldn't be ready now. Just in case it went a bit differently. But I mean, he's got so much anyway, it doesn't really matter. And he probably knows that. As soO types out the GG, INnoVation storms through to take a second game. He actually looked pretty good in this one, really controlled it well. I liked what he was able to do with the game. INnoVation tying it up 1-1. Best of 7, though, it's still a long way to go, as it's anyone's series. Top right-hand side of Eternal Empire is the blue Terran player from KaiZ Gaming. Give it up if you're cheering on INnoVation, as he fights against the red Zerg in the bottom left side of the map. It is soO, as we get this one started up pretty early on here. In Eternal Empire, I don't know what I'm actually saying pretty early on. Obviously, the game literally just started. Just killing a moment or two of time as we get into Eternal. Obviously, nice, easy 4-5 bases. This one, the Terran kind of likes a lot of the time, but it's not unplayable for the Zerg. Obviously, the Terran has good push potential into that 4th base on either side of the map. And you know, you really get a 5th base behind it, so the Terran takes their own 4th and 5th very easily together. And the Zerg kind of has the same thing if they can establish that position. But of course, establishing it is hard when the Terran is able to play such a strong game as well, right? So there's a few ways to kind of set up for that. Just going to be seeing soO is on his way out to the upper right-hand side of the map. It's on a bit of a journey. He has the extractor, the pool coming in. Very slow, standard TvZ kind of startup, right? People just mentioned or asking what this match is from, of course, and just to remind you, it is from an AlphaX tournament. I believe it's into the AlphaX Super Series number 17. So yeah, this is a little 4-player event. This is the finals of that little 4-player event. Honestly, this event was sick. So far, both the semifinals were freaking epic. And, yeah, I mean, finals so far, 1-1. 30 minutes of gameplay already or something. It's been a it's been a good start to the best of 7 at the very least. You know, if nothing, you know, even if the rest of the games are kind of crap and it ends 4-1, I feel like we've still had a good series out of this. So yeah, it was this has been a fun little one. Glad I picked up the replays for it. Reaper of INnoVation is off down to the bottom left-hand side then, so it's going to arrive and don't forget on the submarine, he killed 3 Zerglings. Now, obviously submarine's a bit shorter, so the Queen's not out as quickly, so you've got longer to kind of pick away at things, but even still, 3 Zerglings is kind of ridiculous kind of numbers. Like, that's not really meant to happen in the slightest, so something to think on. As we're going to be seeing a couple of shots still going through, the Lings getting pushed back. And that factory is now going to be finishing from INnoVation in the main base. As we do see our Zergling speed still just coming up on a spawning pool. Reaper from INnoVation back around the right side. Checks the 3rd hatchery timing. That's obviously good information to have. INnoVation is double gassing it. Obviously, this is one map where you could have gone 3cc. But he is going to go double gas instead, so he's going to take a bit of a different approach here. We'll see if he just goes Cloaked Banshees once more. The Cloaked Banshees did okay on the last map. It could just be like a Liberator into Stim. The gas kind of suggests more so like maybe Viking Stim as well. And it's going to be Liberator and Stim, yeah. I think that makes the most sense. Obviously, Stim doesn't come up right away, but the next, you know, bit of gas will get him to 100, and then he does just start Stim back from there. Again, nice quick play into Bio. Not playing any mech at all here just yet. Really sticking to the good old Bio style. There's the Reaper and a couple of Hellions moving around. Oh, I love it. Using the rocks to get the splash damage onto that creep tumor. That's a really nice denial. Good play from INnoVation. It's those little things which are just going to give him those extra little bonuses and boosts as he comes through. That's a dead drone. Didn't get to build a spore in time. Nice catch. Nice catch. Extra extract is on the way as the Hellions try to move up the ramp into the natural. Stim pack from INnoVation building. The Liberators coming through. Six Hellions going to try and move up this ramp as we do see the couple of Queens there. Quick to push the Hellions away. Overlord of soO down the right-hand side. The Liberator of INnoVation down the left. This is obviously this kind of combo time is, oh my god, the drones are stacking up. INnoVation gets in. He's going to go a roasting. He doesn't get any shots on drones, though. Now the drone's being used as part of the surrounds. It's a nice setup. You know, the idea was there. There's now only 2 Hellions remain, so outside of one-shot potential on drones, Liberator can go elsewhere. I mean, it's still been a huge amount of denied mining time on the natural. Hey, drones stacking up. But be careful still. Liberator will get into the main, forces another drone pull. Finally getting settled back down mine in the natural, and now in the main base as well. Good effort from INnoVation. The only sad thing is he had all of those drones stacked. He just couldn't find a way toward them. As he actually shows up with another Liberator on the third base. He's actually really going hardcore on the denial of mining at the moment. And if you look at the income graph, you can see INnoVation just popping up into a massive advantage. And, you know, 4 drones killed. The biggest thing is honestly just being able to kind of really keep on pushing this the rest of this away. This drone pops out, it'll go down too, and that's now 7 kills. Still not mining off a third base. Queens have to respond to this. Oh, that Queen's in a bit of a weird spot. soO sees it, responds properly. And the Liberator is just going to unsiege, and he can come back another time. Maybe even get away, get repaired, come back with full HP. Looks like the Lings cleaned up the last couple of Hellions on the map, though, so it's a small win from soO. After taking quite a bit of serious damage early, he actually comes back into the main with this Liberator, looking for just one more denial of mining. And that will be all it gets as it gets targeted down. Queen gets the kill. soO comes up to the top. A single Zergling going to be sitting there. Orbital command. Moving through. We're just going to be seeing the Mutalisks making their way out over the right side. Five SCVs being picked off as we do see Marines, a couple of medevacs setting up, gonna see all those Lings coming through. Armory from INnoVation is on the way on the natural expansion, so bringing that armory up as we do see our Mutalisks of soO back around up to the top side, and again the 1-1 upgrades on the engineering base continuing to come into play. These fast meters aren't great because they're just not doing anything. We've now lost 2 of them as well. And the thing is, the sacrifices you make to get to fast meters is kind of a big thing too, right? Like, you know, Evo Chambers are only just finishing, so we're talking about basically no upgrades. It's going to lose even more meters. This is so sad because now that's 4 meters dead, so we still only have 5 meters on the map. As these meters are finally meant to be getting to dangerous numbers where they can start taking fights and really dealing damage, they're just dropping out of the skies dead. So INnoVation, I love where he's at. His upgrades are so far ahead on the ground. I mean, a lot of this really comes back to that, huge lost mining time from soO earlier in the game. And INnoVation's really just set up with an army that can really punish and capitalize on that. It's exactly what the Bio army is kind of designed to do. So Lings and Mutas will get 2 more Marines, 4 more Marines off to the left. I actually thought INnoVation was almost ready to go just push forward already, but he decides to back off just one more time. Just a little while longer as the Mutas and Zerglings back away yet again. Zerglings, Mutalisks moving forward, going to go up to that third base. We do see a couple of SCVs already targeted down. Marines pushing through in the bottom side. The rest of these Marines all coming through as well. It's a lot of creep spread being picked off. I mean, the thing is, if you get rid of this base, you're then fighting on this fourth base on the left side. That's such an easy base to push. You come out the third, you basically just, you step foot onto the map, and you're basically already on top of that 9 o'clock base. See, INnoVation, he just forced a cancel, and it's a rebuild from soO. Doesn't waste any time getting it back up. INnoVation obviously doesn't see that, so doesn't realize how easy it would be to cancel it a second time. He's going to check, though. Smart. I mean, obviously it is actually going to pay off for him. He's going to get some more creep tumors. Should get the drone. He's not sieged up though right now, so soO's going to be able to jump on this a little bit ahead of when INnoVation was expecting to fight. I'm not sure if it matters. The lack of upgrades from soO really hurting here. 2 tanks still alive. It was a shame to lose the first 2 on siege. They're not really set up to do anything, but now you just continue to push the creep back. You're slowly encroaching on this third base. And soO's very limited in terms of how many directions he can attack from. It's going to be hard to come from anywhere other than this side and this side, which is actually still okay. It's still something of a surround, but INnoVation's going to be able to back away off of creep. He's going to be able to kite away. He actually unsieges the tanks just as Banes move down this ramp yet again, and still doesn't really have much opportunity there for soO to do anything. There's INnoVation reinforcing. I mean, soO's allowed to mine off the left side, which is, at least for soO, he's kind of like, okay, well, I'll take this for the moment. Better than just having him kind of push my 4th base and denying that and being stuck on 3 bases. So I don't think soO is all too upset about that, as that Marine's onto the 3rd. And again, just keeping the pressure up in this direction. The tanks are getting ever closer, which means they're starting to actually get shots on the Lings and Banes when they're even just kind of moving forwards a little bit defensively. Here we go, soO from the left and from the top. This is the fight he needs to take, as it is going to be down in upgrades still, though. 1-1 against 2-2. He gets good bailing shots. I feel like INnoVation just a little lazy in terms of pulling his Marines away and splitting them there. He was just kind of like, yeah, this is fine. I do think that's just going to be too many Marines for soO to stabilize against. I'm just trying to come in from behind and get something done, but they will not. Hatchery goes down. The drones are all dropping. The muters trying to show up to get a bit more damage done. And this is pretty much going to be it. There's a few minutes back away once again. Baneling Nest is taking a bit more damage. Tanks are target firing the Banes. And that, my friends, is INnoVation going to a lead of this series for sure. It's just a matter of time waiting for that soO GG. It finally came in. INnoVation was obviously in a great spot there. Closes it out to take the 2-1 lead in the best of 7, taking the lead for the first time. Let's see if we can keep it up. 4th map is Golden Wall. As in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player from Kaizi, it's INnoVation. And the bottom right side, our red Zerg from the Afrika Freaks is soO. Well then, a 4th map. And kind of interested to see what INnoVation and soO bring out, just because Golden Wall is that kind of crazy map. You know, it's unorthodox, it's very different. It's not your kind of standard. And this one actually does really lead into those kind of longer games a lot of the time. INnoVation's been pretty true to bio so far. Would this be the time to pull out mech? I don't think so. The only thing about Golden Wall that doesn't kind of lead or lend itself to those longer macro games is that a Terran player taking this gold base here as the 3rd. If you take the gold base here as the 3rd, that's kind of a big power up to like an 8 racks push. And that can end games in a world where you just park up here and you slowly push into the natural 3rd or the space between. That is the kind of the killing blow around 8, 9, 10 minutes that stops us from going to 15, 20 minutes every single time. Overlord heading across. DCI SCV coming through the bottom side. We're about to finish up. Our spawning pool from soO is going to be done. Hatchery finishing on the natural, and Queen already on the way up here as well. So just getting that build up. The SCV backs away into the center of the map as our factory coming through from INnoVation. The command center's halfway along. And this Reaper from INnoVation will continue across to the far right-hand side. So Reaper all the way over to the far right. It's going to be getting here and moving into the natural in the next couple moments. Lings showing up as well. Going to chase that Reaper away. Of course, we're going to be saying goodbye to Golden Wall in the upcoming map pool changes. I'm sad about it, honestly. Like, I think Golden Wall was the absolute gem of a map that we found that we never expected to be so good. You know, it's finally a map that's different in its own way without being overpowered or favoring one race. It's a really cool example, and I really love this. It's a really cool example that pro players will play stuff that's different as long as it's balanced, you know? And Golden Wall is that. It's different. It plays differently. It's different ways that each matchup can play out. Even if in the same matchup, there's different expansion patterns. So many different expansion patterns. No two games really look the same on Golden Wall. And pro players did not shy away from it. Pro players really embraced this map, and I think that's been really cool. It is sad to see it go, but I am also ready for a map pool refresh because it feels like it's been an absolute eternity since the map pool changed. Couple Hellions showing up, putting some damage in. The Ling gets taken down. There's a couple of Queens out down the bottom side. The Hellions are going to escape a way back through to the center of the map. It's an armory, so it's a Hellbat attack as the opening. Well, soO drops a Roach Roar, and that should help defensively big time against this incoming Hellbat attack. So, defensively here, soO should be able to get some units up to make some plays. Liberator as the follow-up as well. So as the medevac comes across with a few Marines initially, it's going to be the Liberator to go elsewhere. Maybe if you can get enough Queen kills, right, then the Liberator can be extremely effective and get a good siege. It can't be pushed back by anything. There are spores on the way, though, as these Hellions actually catch the Queens kind of far forward initially. And some initial shots off. Problem is these Hellions not as healthy as they would be when they're Hellbats, so also they get healed from the medevac. So you gotta kind of morph them into Hellbats at some stage. That's why it's not always good just to keep on chasing those Queens. In Hellion mode, of course. And now the Hellbats get into this natural mineral line. Well, there's not really any units out yet, but we're about to have Roaches on the field. So as one Queen goes down, the Roaches show up, and I think that's the second Queen in the corner going down. INnoVation pulls away from it. Well, he is chasing drones. I like these two Hellions that are still in Hellion mode. They just showed up. They're actually going to be a big reason he gets a lot of the kills here. But 9 drones, he committed a lot to it. Now he's got Roaches running across the map on the counter. He has started to build a Banshee, and that Banshee will become vital in the defense because these Roaches, obviously, they're going to hit, and they're going to hit hard. I like the Liberator showing up, but there's a Queen here. And soO, well, is he paying attention? He is, so good move. soO just too quick. Nicely done. 1 drone, and that will be all. As the Roaches are going to show up, well, double bunker about to finish. Widow Mines, Banshee, all these things that will slowly deal just that bit of damage to just slowly help and clean this up. I like it. Widow Mine going to go off. 1 Roach goes down. Make that a second. This is actually a defense here from INnoVation. I don't think he dies right here and now. No, the Banshee showing up for sure. First, the balls don't hit it, so it's going to get pushed back. He cancels the Ravager. Even soO says, yep, this ain't working out for me. And actually, the Banshee didn't get... Because the Banshee turned to kill that Roach that was morphing into a Ravager, the other units actually have a bit of a head start across the map going home, so this Banshee might not get too much more done when it comes to the... cleaning up of Roaches and Ravagers. Liberator got another couple drones before it met its fate. So that's where those 2 drone kills came from. That Liberator just getting back into play one more time. Banshee picks a creep team off on the front side of this. Do you have the Ravagers, the Lings, the Roaches setting up on the top, and now some more creep. Taking damage as well. Engineering bays are building, so INnoVation will switch on into upgrade mode. And again, the Banshee back around through the center of the map. Just trying to see where else it can get to at this stage. Obviously, second Banshee shows up as well. He did actually build Cloak with this. We followed this Banshee for a while. He built Cloak, so second Banshee then obviously makes sense. I feel like he could have just built 1 Banshee defensively. But he says, hey, if I've got 1 Banshee, may as well get a second, may as well cloak them up and get some extra damage done. Man, there's some Queens there that could go down. It depends how fast soO reacts with the transfusions. We're going to move in the main where there is going to be a defense with the Queen and a Spore Crawler. Goes down to the natural, where a similar defense is established. And only a couple of drones. Thing is, only a couple of drones doesn't really justify the Banshee, a second Banshee in the cloak, right? Feels like just the one Banshee maybe could have done the same amount. I like the Widow Mine drop, though. It's something a bit different. I mean, there's, of course, spore crawlers in each base, so detection shouldn't be the problem here. Those Banshees still trying to find openings, but not finding much luck, and maybe just have to give it up right now. They can put some damage on this fourth base, but I also think they should maybe prioritize getting back home and actually just getting repaired to come out again. I don't believe they get this fourth base before the Queens get here is the problem. Now, those Banshees are low, so they're going to go down so quickly when the Queens show up. Okay, good play from InnoVation. He's now going to kite around the base. Okay, InnoVation has done this correctly so far. He's going to get it. Nice cancel. Oh, but he loses the Banshees because he's looking elsewhere. He brings the Widow Mine drop in. It's a shame he loses the Banshees because he worked so hard to get the damage done there. He's going to blow up the mineral line. 4, 11, 15, 17 drones just died. My goodness. Well, good news is this medevac won't last much longer. Mutas are out on the map. But 17 workers off the Widow Mine drop. What a timing to come in at. Makes up for him losing the Banshees. I still would have loved to see the Banshees just survive though, right? They did the job. They did the hard part. As we do have the couple of mutas coming in already. And but the Overseer cleans that up. Chases the medevac away. soO gets the defense out eventually. I know it doesn't really have the money to start 2-2 yet. Okay, he just started +2 attack when I said it and looked at the gas. So you will have it pretty quick. Wasn't as bad as I thought. Felt as though it could have been a bit of a slower setup, as we do see the single circle of soO to the left side. Middlers are just going to show up, moving into this third base. Not going to find too much luck over there, as more Lings, more Ravagers setting up in the center of the map. Combat Shield building up right now from INnoVation. The 2-2 upgrade still coming into play. More Marines all coming out. Five missile turrets all coming into action here, as we see the Overlord speed is still taking a long. Lings getting there, pushing the medevacs away. The mutas are going to go chase those medevacs as well. Bunch of Marines turning around, and again, Ling, Ravager, Muta. Push back into the center as we do see 2-2 again on either side of this. Combat Shield about to finish. Drilling Claws is going to be done sooner rather than later, and just going to be seeing a few extra mutas, a couple of banelings continuing to get going. Marines joining up with these crew tanks up the left-hand side. Mutalisks go in, gonna get one missile turret already, looking for a second. These other mutas setting up and moving around. Just gonna see INnoVation is with the Marines continuing to chase. He's going to get an Overseer, so it's that pretty easily. I mean, when in the late stage of this game, I don't like this for soO. I mean, where's the banelings, right? There's like 3, 4, 5 banelings in this fight. I mean, INnoVation didn't actually need the tanks in the front. Sometimes the tanks tanking some of the bane shots is nice, but he actually could have just like had the tanks in the back and fought that and didn't need to do anything, right? Like, yeah, I just don't understand where the banelings were. soO's actually down a bit in supply right now as INnoVation pushing forwards. He's also got these Marines here that are going to try and compete on the bottom side of the gold. He's going to find mutas to fly in. Ooh, gets 2 and nearly 4. That could have been a lot worse in all honesty, as we're going to be seeing up to the top side. Bio units coming in. A lot of creep team is already being cleaned out. Crystal files go down. The Marines back off. Bane's still running through this. A couple of Banes, other Banes showing up as well. Marines getting to turn around and doing a little bit more. Marines killing off that hatcher on the gold. And again, everything else from soO just setting up in the center of the map. The big bio army of INnoVation still setting up in the center too as well. INnoVation's Marines out down the bottom. Bio Army of Inno still in the center also. It's going to be 6 more Banes coming through. A couple of drones killed off in the bottom right. Okay, Ravager still coming in. Our Marines and Marauders pushing forward, getting rid of more creep tumors here. Banes crash in, getting a good few Marine kills and still got on this bottom side. Marines trying to make their way through. I mean, this drop's been on that bottom side of the map for like an absolute eternity, right? It's just never leaving. An INnoVation pushing through the top. This avenue is always dangerous though, because again, you're limited in terms of space of where you can go. I mean, the setup is strong on top of this base, but you know, you've got creep to the right of you, you've got a, you know, dead space at the top and a very narrow exit on the left. Worries me a little bit. soO comes in just from the right-hand side, doesn't set anything from the left. Even more mutas just evaporate. I feel like mutas just aren't meant to be in this series. They've died so many times. He's going to kill the spawning pool before Adrenal Glands gets up. You'll just commit to it, right? There's no way you give up that. Killing the spawning pool is always nice. Killing it when you see it wiggling with Adrenal Glands, even better. That slows down the effectiveness of the Zerglings for quite some time here. So soO's really being punished. And right now, it feels like soO can't really win these later game sort of setups. He'll win this fight, but only after having taken multiple losses in a row. But that fight was actually pretty good for him. I mean, INnoVation arguably could have cleaned, you know, backed away from that a bit sooner. He's now sending more around the bottom side of the map, so he's really focusing over here. Where's that Thor going? As he shows up, I like the Marauders, obviously the extra bit of range, helping you just get as much damage onto this gold base as possible. Wants to keep that denied. As INnoVation's new 5th, though. Marine's gonna have to stim up forward. I don't know if they get there in time. They're on the way. They're about to get here. And the mutas just feel like they're doing no damage. They are gonna get the kill. That was close, though. That's nice. Denying the 5th base. He's obviously not really being allowed his own kind of 5th base very easily at all. So it kind of is important to stop the Terran from getting there too easily. Otherwise, you just run into a lot of problems from the start. Medevac's going to hop over to the other side of the minerals and ready in a push into this hive. A lot of Lingbane, Muta, Ravager up to the top once again. Bio going to turn to start fighting this. Widowmine's burrow up. Bane's connected in here, there, and everywhere. All of this Lingbane continue to run forward. Mutas, Ravagers trying to fight also as a couple Corrosive Vials. Helping clean out Widowmines. I mean, the thing is, this is a much better cleanup from soO. Now he's going to get absolutely everything. The mutas control the Medevacs. Resources loss is getting to be very similar, and soO still hasn't found that like mega income advantage because INnoVation's got strong economy of his own. He's actually on 5 bases now, top left, about to take a 6th base. So INnoVation's income is very good too. So that's the good news for Inno. He's not trading super efficiently like you usually might be, but he's actually mining a very competitive amount. He's even taking the lead here as he gets a chance on the top left base to drop mules. Obviously, that's only a temporary effect. I love this play on the bottom half of the map. How many times has he denied this gold? Must have been already 2 times at the very least. This is going to be number 3 in my mind. Might have even been more. He's been at this for such a long period of time. I mean, this is going to be cleaned up over here for sure. He's going to lift up and just go suicide, drop the main. Gives him more time to arguably set up on the top side. So again, INnoVation playing a beautiful game. But soO is controlling it, right? Like, you know, soO's not letting it get out of hand. Yes, INnoVation's dealing damage, but he's paying for it. You know, he's using up drops, he's using up units to get this damage done. Ling's gonna show up. This base not a planetary yet. What a timing to get there. Beautiful play. soO having the timing in his mind, knowing roughly when that might be still not a planetary. Making the most of it, getting 7 SCVs. And the Ling's just gonna check the top left corner as well. He'll not be happy to see that that base is up and running over there. But still, having the information is better than not having it at all. At least now you know you maybe need to do something about it. The INnoVation gets cleaned up here as well. I mean, his suit takes a huge amount of damage, though. Although soO has the supply and he has the money to rebuild, and he will rebuild 3 more Ultras and 44 Zerglings all at once. So it's a lot of stuff on the rebuild, in fact. Anabolic Synthesis coming through on the right side. I mean, it's all gathered up. 13 more Banelings coming in from soO. Gonna be popping very shortly as our mutas dive in. Missile turret goes down. A lot of these mules. And picked away at a few SCVs as well. Go from INnoVation, gonna unload a few lings, get picked off, and still just seeing the mutas of soO in the center, trying to think where they want to go. Lings and Banes, Ravages and Ultras, all joined up together. The Overlord gonna make its way down, sees the command center on that bottom left. Mines get cleaned out. Another couple of Widow Mines looking to line up a shot or two. Lings canceling up a CC that was built in bottom left side as well. I guess that was built before the creep started spreading there. I mean, I love what soO's doing. A lot of these counterattacks, he's finally taking the fight to INnoVation side of the map. You know, the last 2 or 3 minutes have looked a lot more hopeful for soO. Now he's going to deny this top base as the Bio Army runs south. The muta's going to donate themselves just because, you know, apparently, you know, soO can't do too many good. I don't know, like, apparently he's not allowed to have a good moment of the game without something going wrong. Thing is, he's denying important bases, and even these ultras to the top left, I think, have some good chances of maybe not killing the base, but, well, actually, they could just escape away, right? I like it. That's actually, I didn't think of it as an escape path initially, but it does work. Well, just have to keep on moving. He can join up the rest of the units that it protects, so INnoVation can't really cut those ultras off. Massacre showing up, damage done to some Overseers. The Ultras and the Ravage is going to turn back around to the top left side. Yeah, he needs to get some of these SCVs, right? They actually choked up on the missile turret, though, so there's actually not that much repairing being done. Oh my god, the Ravager pile was actually kind of brutal there. There's a big fight on the top right as Muta's taking some damage. The Ultra's moving down. Bio going to keep moving up. On the bottom side, Lings continue around as well. They're going to pick away at this missile turret line, just getting rid of the gold base, forcing that orbital lift elsewhere. INnoVation's losing his economy, though. Now INnoVation doesn't have a bank. He's losing bases. This is an orbital. It can't protect itself. That's a big issue. Yes, soO's about to lose this base, but he's taking the bottom side, and he's got money in the bank already. That's the big difference. Already having money to spend here will absolutely make the difference in this. I don't think these Ultras get this kill. He needed to get rid of some more of the... Well, maybe they do, actually. He does kill a few SCVs from the splash damage. He gets it! Oh my god, INnoVation just lost like 3 bases to these Ultras now. And soO maxed out. Bank ready to spend. And these SCVs have kind of just given up the fact that there's going to be a base over here. Again, that's an orbital. It's very exposed. Very easy to shut down at some point. So, definitely something to worry about as our mutas go all the way up to the top. Bio Army in the center here. INnoVation will get 2 changelings to begin. Ling, Bane, Ultra on the high ground as you do see just a little bit more creep being cleaned out here. Mutas get on top of all these SCVs. Oh my god. Big fight on the bottom side as well, though the Banes go crashing in. And INnoVation just does not have an army left over. soO, well, I honestly thought INnoVation played a really good game up until about 15 minutes. And I actually don't think he played a bad game from there. soO just went into like Super Saiyan mode because he just went madman. He just started counterattacking. He shut down bases. And this game was really won from soO in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Before then, like, he did a good job. He stayed alive. He traded out. You know, but INnoVation controlled the game. soO controlled this game for the last minute or 2 especially. And that has made the difference now. As INnoVation below 50 supply before leaving. Maybe can't even quite believe this one kind of went his way. soO cleans up everything. I love this. The units don't disappear until soO leaves the game. So soO stays and he cleans everything. He's like, yes, I deserve to kill everything after that game. And he actually really does. What a showdown. What a comeback. soO ties us up 2-2 in the best of 7. What a match. Everdream will be the map to take one of these players up to match point. Of course, if you're enjoying the series so far, watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out so very much. As in the top right-hand corner, our blue Terran from TvZ Gaming. This is INnoVation. Taking on the Red Zerg in the bottom left-hand side, it is going to be soO from the Afrika Freaks. Alright, so, a bit of ZVT action then. I'm a fan. I like it. It's been a fun one. INnoVation's going to crank out the Proxy Rex. You know what? It's a best of 7. I'd be shocked if there wasn't a Proxy Rex in the series. You know, Well, when we're guaranteed 6 maps, I don't mind one of them being a proxy game. Seems good to me. Hey, thank you, Zaba Garden, for the 3-month resub. ZVT action. Hells yeah, it is. As this drone is going to find the scout, so he is going to get that info. Pretty early as well. He will pull 2 more drones. Even if you don't deny this from being built, you can still kind of fight the first Marines that comes down. You can slow down the SCVs a bit. Even just damage on the SCVs means they're easier to target fire when they start to build the bunker later on, right? So, the other 2 drones get to you. This Rax is not done just yet. The SCV goes into a bad position. He's not going to finish the second Rax yet. Oh ho ho. Well, that's actually a pretty big deal. So this is really slowed down from Inno. Both those SCVs just going home. Looks like they're going to commit to going home. He gets the cancel, and that's obviously soO. Gets that info. He's just going to leave the 3 drones on that Marine. That was a bad pull away. That was a little bit too late. He's going to get this Marine and then just go back home. So 1 drone for 1 Marine gets the cancel. Bit of lost mining time forced, but obviously Inno loses 2 SCVs of mining from early in the game anyway. Inno's going to go for the Reaper as the follow-up now. As Queen's coming up, a few Lings coming up. I mean, for soO, it's really nice to know it was a cancel, because now he knows it's only 1 Rax production. So now he kind of gets an idea of what this could be as a follow-up. He's not over-preparing for something that isn't continuing to be built up on, you know? Reaper of INnoVation goes down the left-hand side, so I'm just going to move on through, goes into that natural expansion. Drone pops out, and is going to get targeted down as well, gets chased away. A few Lings showing up, and just going to push that Reaper around as well. A couple Queens on the way through, a couple extra drones are popping out. Those Lings of soO continuing to the top right-hand side, so away they go. INnoVation's command center, his Rax comes back. His command center is in place of the barracks. Obviously, he wants to create a wall off there at some stage. And doesn't want it to be the factory, I guess, because he wants to build a reactor with the factory. And if he does that, it's obviously exposed here, and that can be killed. You don't build a reactor quickly enough to sustain against Ling damage. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. Although he has the Reaper, so you can protect against Lings anyway. It's just the safer way to do this. At the end of the day, it is just the safer way of doing this. He goes 3CC as he attempts to play recovery mode. And we'll see what soO has to say about that. He's got Ling speed coming up. He's still mining a bit of gas, but nothing overly aggressive yet. I mean, 2 workers still on gas does suggest maybe the idea of a faster lair or the Rotron. No third has me thinking the lair is going to be the choice here. Reaper gets in, doesn't actually get to scout the gas though, which is one of the main things you'd probably be able to see with that Reaper. Sees good saturation on the natural. Gas is spent. It's a lair in the main. Yeah, it makes sense, I think. Just obviously, if you're going to keep mining that gas, there's no real indication that a Rotron was going to be coming through. Makes sense. Fusion core builds up from INnoVation back at home. I guess this is just going to be a fast spire, but then you're going for a fast spire against what seems to be a battlecruiser. That's obviously going to generally bode well for soO in this game, right? This is a little bit of a hard counter victory right off the start, so kind of liking that. Few drones just building up. These Hellions showing up. They get a creep teamer kill on the left-hand side. Third hatchery. It's still coming up. A couple of creep teamers down on the far left side as well. The Hellions still trying to decide what they want to do. Queen's coming in, pushing those Hellions back around. They get pushed through the bottom side here. BC on the way up from INnoVation in the main. Hellions still just picking away at this creep spread. So doing pretty nicely with this. The battlecruiser coming up, a couple Hellions, the stim pack. All of this coming in right now. I'm just going to be seeing a couple of extra mules dropping down on the natural expansion. So getting those extra mules in there. Stim pack coming into play. Just going to be seeing the Spire setting up on the natural. And yeah, we continue to get this going. Lanes of INnoVation down the right side. I mean, I want to be a believer. What's this BC gonna... Is the BC gonna fly across the map? I mean, that's step one. If it teleports across the map, it dies to the mutas. So you kind of do just have to fly it across, and he will do that. I mean, that's good news for INnoVation. He has a good read. Yeah, I mean, it's a safety play, right? You can't guarantee that this wasn't a fast Spire, so you've got to play it as though it is one. So a lot of Hellions. No, 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 no. The BC just teleported. No, 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 no. He was doing the right thing, and now he's doing the wrong thing. Shit. 7 meters coming up. The problem is that BC goes down, and that's a big investment early in the game. That now you're going to struggle. Well, is it going to get away? The meter should chase it straight away, I think. You got Queens to deal with the Hellions. I think the meter should just go. Oh, the BC turns around as well. No, 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 no. The problem is the moment you lose a BC, that's 400, 300, plus the cost of a fusion core, gone. And what did it do? Killed an Overlord? Cool. Viking could have done that. You know, did some damage to Queens? Cool. That doesn't count for, you know, the money you've spent on that. Oh, the meter's actually just going to go straight across the map. Well, INnoVation's not prepared for meters at all. And the teleport across the map suggests that. So he's going to show up and he's actually going to get a lot of SCV kills. I think this is smart from soO. I like the idea of him killing the BC, but actually, this makes even more sense because he knows that INnoVation's completely underprepared against meters because he didn't respect the meters with the BC at all. So he gets in, he gets 9, 10, 11 workers. Yeah, I mean, okay. Now the BC has its teleport backup, so the meters won't get a kill on it if they want to go chase it down, but that doesn't matter when you've just killed this amount of SCVs. Plus, you're going to get some units over here for free. Another SCV. I mean, the BC here can obviously... well, it teleports home. It's obviously below SCV or above SCVs, so the SCVs could just repair it back up. I think soO's got this under control. That economic damage is huge. He's double expanding to base 4 and 5 at the same time, so he's feeling really good about that. And now these mutalisks of soO moving back around to the upper right-hand side, so they move back up the right here, gonna get in for a few of these Marines. So a few Marines being picked away at. He's gonna go back down through into the center. The few Hellions showing up. And he's gonna get here and gets the first siege tank already. So one tank already going down. Hellions still trying to settle on upper at the moment. 7 Marines coming through. Tank coming up. A couple of medevacs on the way. And we do have our meters just continue to fly around a little bit, trying to see what else they can get up to. As they come in, they're just going to pick off that medevac. Going to go and kill these Marines as well. I mean, this is a problem. Is INnoVation going across the map? 1-1 in his favor. But there's Baneling speed done. That's obviously a big helping hand. He's going to deny gas. Honestly, soO should just bring the meters back and clean up this army. I think it might end the game. Then again, he's actually going to supply block INnoVation. He's doing good damage, and INnoVation's still not even sieged, right? So he's got time to bring the meters back if needed. Oh, a lot of Ling's going to go on the counter-attack, so they're not going to join this fight either. I mean, meters are just shutting down every single unit that's reinforcing those, so it doesn't really matter if soO just cleans this army up now or in, you know, a couple of minutes, because it's never going to get any bigger. Production is completely camped here. The Lings are in, so I think soO just knows what the checkmate move is right now. Danes are going to make a move forward. They get there before the tanks get sieged. And yeah, what, you've got like 8, 9, 10 Marines left over. They're going to eventually die, whereas these units are absolutely never going to die. There's a BC as well. That's annoying. And yeah, it's a little messy cleaning this up, but again, soO knows that eventually it's just going to be too much. You'll never really get an army up over here. INnoVation knows it as well, and soO is going to be the player that gets the opportunity to win the series going into Game 6. Means that everything is on the line now for INnoVation. Can he survive as soO takes the lead in the series again? Life on the line in the bottom right-hand side. It's time to get... Well, I mean, pretty sure he's been serious this entire time, but no room for errors any longer. It is our Blue Terran player INnoVation from KaiZi Gaming. There's been a good back-and-forth series as soO has put up one hell of a fight from the Afrika Freaks in the top left. He is the red Zerg player. As we get into map 6, then soO, the chance to just close this out right here, right now. Has a chance to just pick up this win as we're speaking. Death Aura is this fun kind of map, remember? We really do like, I think, Death Aura quite a bit. For a, yeah, I really like Death Aura quite a bit for, like, just kind of those longer games. 4 base is very easy. I love the fight over the 5th base because 4 bases are easy, but that 5th base is more difficult to hold, and that's where the Terrans can really excel. You get 4 bases up yourself, and you can survive or justify being on 4 bases for longer than the Zerg. And then the Zerg has to take a 5th, and that becomes very difficult because the Terran has a lot of pushing potential, a lot of dropping potential on that 5th. That's kind of out of the way of everywhere else. It's just that little bit further out, so I kind of like it as an approach. Drone scouting around for the proxy rack. soO wants to just make sure he doesn't die to anything silly here in a game 6. Overlord's just moving around here. The Reaper's coming up. The command center's in the natural. All of the very standard stuff here for the moment, as you just see that hatchery coming through as well. So a lot of build-up. And we've seen Reaper of INnoVation still coming up this right-hand side, and yeah, just having a bit of a scout up to the top. Comes in, drone gonna take a bit of damage. Doesn't quite get the block. Nice try though. Feelings going out across the map. Factory building from INnoVation. Couple of Marines out. Reactor on the way, so very standard stuff so far. That Reaper just chilling up to the 12 o'clock, and we are seeing a few Zerglings of soO continuing out down the south side. Natural about to finish. 3rd CC about to come up as well. So INnoVation happy to play a bit of a longer macro focus game. He's had, he's had success and he's had downsides to this in its entirety throughout this series. Reaper's coming up, Queen putting some damage out. Reaper taking some shots already, and just going to be seeing that link speed is going to be done pretty soon. Reaper comes in, Queens. Some good damage out. The drone's able to get a kill. Well, Reaper just going a bit deep there, but it's Overlord speed on the way, so soO's actually just playing safe. He wants to know if INnoVation's doing anything sneaky, and I always think this is a pretty nice scenario for the Terran player, right? The Zerg is spending early gas. He's basically paying to see that you're playing greedy and playing 3 command centers. And this is a scout that realistically this Overlord here could have picked up without Overlord speed, right? So, ooh, a Banshee starts. No fusion core on the way. I guess just a defensive Banshee just to make sure to, not die against some kind of a pressure, some kind of a push, or anything along those lines. A couple of Hellions popping out. And they are starting to move forward here. The Cloak setting up. I mean, this is nice though, right? You get the Scout and the Cloak Banshee. You still could have seen this with the Speedless Overlord. What you will be able to do with the Speed Overlord is you are going to be able to get back into the main base and re-scout, confirm the Cloak is still there. Right? Because now it's cancelled, and I don't think INnoVation ever planned to put Cloak into play. So that's what you're going to be able to re-scout now, and that will tell soO exactly the commitment to this Banshee play. And it tells them that it's only one Banshee, and it's mostly like safety, and obviously it can be aggressive still. But yeah, that's going to be the nice part of this. He sees the Banshee. Here we go. Starport's no longer on that tech lab, and boom, you get that info. You get to see the barracks. And yeah, now it kind of is Overlord speed paying for itself, because now you don't have to set up as many defenses. No Spore on that 3rd base already, for example. He's going to build one on the main, but he doesn't have to go overboard with Spore Crawlers, because Queens alone should be able to push back just that one singular Banshee at this stage of the game. Carapace upgrades building from soO, so he actually goes Carapace. He's got the 2nd Evo, so he can go melee upgrade as well. We do see a couple of Queens out the front, a couple of creep spread coming forward. Queen's just going to put some injects down on our 3rd base as the Queen here pushes the Banshee back down the left side. Hellions on the far right as the Banshee up around the top is going to put some damage out onto a set of rocks on the left-hand side. Now we've got Hellions still moving up the right, an Overlord, a Dropper Lord on the far right side as well. So setting up for that as INnoVation continues to move up to the top side. looking to see what he can maybe do next as he comes through the middle of the map. A Banshee putting some damage on the rock still. Just looking to find a way in with the Hellions. It's been pretty passive, though. Not a lot happening just yet. As the Banshee going to keep on at the rocks right there. Well, Spire's on the way from soO, so building that Spire up already. The Hellions escape away to the left side. A few Queens stand up at the front. Going to start putting some creep tumors out. And we do have the Lings of soO all the way down the right-hand side and maybe thinking about going into the bottom right-hand corner or something here. Pulls up a Dropper Lord. Going to take it into the main. I like this. The Dropper Lord with a few Lings really is just so powerful. You know, INnoVation's on the map. He doesn't have anything in his base right now. And as he's just powering up for this big 1-1 push, suddenly he's got to send units back, and he's got to worry about this. But he's actually seen it nice and quickly. So he's got units here. INnoVation, I mean, INnoVation's also just good as a player, right? So, all pushing up. Let's see what soO can do to defend right now. He loses an Overlord early. This kind of comes down. Lings and Queens getting set to go. Creep tumors already being picked apart, and well, the Lings do not really do anything over in the main or the natural. No Bane speed just yet. INnoVation's also only just finishing 1-1 though, and the 1-1 was already in play from soO, so had to be kind of careful about that as everything joins together. Lings and the Bane still coming up. Just going to be seeing the tank firing. A couple of the Queens already in a bit of trouble. And now the Marines just going to continue through the center here and continuing up the left-hand side. Big push for INnoVation to get toward this fourth base. And he's got, you know, creep pushed back quite nicely. He's starting to really set up a stronghold right now with these siege tanks. 2 more arriving. Obviously, initially, one of them kept back because of that little bit of a Ling drop. Why is he not sieging the tanks, though? Like, what is he doing? They're so far forward as soO just sees that opportunity. He's going to collapse in on this. Well, there's only a bunch of Lings left over. Surrounding these Marines probably doesn't go that well for him. New Banes showing up. Target fires them all. INnoVation, I think, might just win out this fight. The Lings go down. He has Marines left over. Oh my god, now imagine what that fight looks like if INnoVation didn't just run his tanks and move command them into the army and loses them before they even get sieged. More Marines and a tank on this left-hand side. Ready to push up the left into that fourth base. We do have a 5th hatchery from soO up on the top side, and well, a few Marines simming forward, a couple of creep tumors being picked away at. Ling's already taking some damage. Starting to go down a little bit. Counter attack with the mutas is at least doing some damage as well, but INnoVation's still just focused, pushing up the left side. Can't just ignore the muta threat though. You ignore that for too long and then you've got problems on your hands, because then they do too much and that brings soO back in this game, which at the moment he's absolutely in trouble in. He's going to lose this left side base. He is expanding to the 12 o'clock. I guess that's why INnoVation just gives this position up and moves back. Because now you want to kind of back away, sweep around to the right side, and move up to this 12 o'clock base instead. Oh, he's going to get caught in the retreat, though. Tank not sieged. A lot of Banelings here, actually. It is off creep. That's the one benefit. Tank in the background. Target fire the Banes. He's going to take away a lot of the threat there. Marines get to the speedy zone. Obviously, then the Banes will follow through the speedy zone as well. Actually, reinforcements showing up, and I think that should be enough. Problem is just those last few Banelings, but a Widow Mine gets connected into. That soaks a couple Banes. And finally, INnoVation can turn back around to chase this back out. Mutas coming through, the +2 armor about to finish up on the engineering bay. Middlers of soO wanting to go diving in. They're going to make their way into this third and find another couple of depots. I mean, the mutas are the one thing from soO that are kind of keeping this all held together right now. They're the glue to this composition, because otherwise he'd be falling apart if he wasn't dealing some damage across the map. I mean, INnoVation's still up heavily in supply. 3-3 already on the way up. Obviously, no real chance for soO here to move into Infestation Pit and Hive. That's so far away right now. So INnoVation's going to have a pretty serious timing where he's going to have 3-3 against 2-2. And he's doing that off of, you know, an upgrade advantage. He's, off an army advantage. He's doing this off of what will be a 4th base. So he's going to have a 4th base up. I like it for INnoVation a lot. So what does soO need to do? I think he needs to keep making use of these mutas. These mutas are his answer to kind of deal with this. They can buy him time. They don't care so much about the upgrades because they're not looking for fights. They're looking for pickoffs, right? stuff like this. You get a Widowmine here. Those like sort of things, and then that distraction can open up fights elsewhere like this one. So I think that's how Su has to fight this, and now he's used the mutas to kind of force an army to not reinforce properly just yet. I don't like him continue to chase in as the Widowmine showed up though, and I think that was the bad part of that. It was cool when he kind of forced the fight because there was no, not the right amount of units. But INnoVation got away to his reinforcements, and Su can't really afford to take a fight because he's down in supply. So I like what Su was doing, but then he kind of committed to the fight that I didn't want him to. So, positives and negatives right now as we set up in this. Flies over Widowmine, we'll just turn around and clean that up. Thing is, he's still keeping INnoVation kind of back, although that's a dead Mutalisk. That's when mutas do care about upgrades, because then, believe it or not, they actually die pretty quickly. And that's something worth looking at, but... well, I mean, at least Su got up to 5 bases, but it's only on 70 drones. So you look at the resources lost here, Su's trailing, so he needs to kind of be on more than 70 drones, because INnoVation's on 70 SCVs. So INnoVation is kind of leading this eco game, having bumps of his own advantage every now and then. Obviously, as the 4th base gets up, that'll be better. This is fantastic. He catches INnoVation without a split on the Marines. Su gets a really good fight here on the start of the Banes. Is it enough? I mean, the mutas took some losses there as they continue to chase in. It was a really good start to Su, and it's the step towards the right direction of maybe making something work. Now Widowmine's Bio Army setting up, coming through the top side. You're going to see the Thor. Actually going to get some good splash onto these mutas. Whoa! He lifted. I actually wasn't even low enough to need lifting right away there. Mistake from Inno. Loses that Thor. Could have got another shot off of soO already. Nice targeting from Su. Picks off the medevac. That's a nice play. I think the medevac lift is not a bad idea because typically you're going to be able to get it up and down and the mutas aren't going to target the medevac right away. But obviously, Su played well to realize what was being done. And he responded to it properly, quickly, and effectively. Making it work out as Bio continues up the left side. Coming up, Kirk team is being cleaned out. A lot of mutas to the bottom side of this from Su. Going to go down at the 6 o'clock. Bio Army gets set up. Widowmines do get burrowed. Mutas coming in. Going to go for that missile turret. Missile turret gets cleaned up as well. I'm just going to see how Bio Army continue to fight here. Lings and Banes running through. Going to come in and clean everything up. Is it enough? The Thor is standing strong, and that's what's got me worried because there's no Banes left. The Thor's tanked so much of the damage. And if just a few Marines survive, the Lings alone just don't do enough. Now INnoVation gets his reinforcements up the left side. Now INnoVation gets to keep on pushing. And now Su is in trouble as those Mutalisks then get pushed off back over to the right side here. And Su will lose the left side base. Well, thing is 14 minutes deep, a 4-base Terran. You kind of need to be a 5-base Zerg. And that's the 5th base that's just gone down. As Widowmine burrows up very aggressively. Goes for the Banes after they have already blown up on the Bio Army. Mutas on the counterattack. Well, at least if you take down the 4th base, maybe that's some hope. Like I said, the mutas are the real key to this from Su. If you can use them well enough, if you can use them effectively, maybe he can do enough to stay in this. But, I mean, they're starting to go down, so their numbers aren't that great anymore. I kind of want to watch that Widowmine connection, but Lings are running in. Widowmines didn't actually burrow. Now the rest of the Bane showing up over here as well, but it's not enough. Su's supply is so low. Almost dipping below 100. He doesn't quite, but I mean, the power of 3 through upgrades as well, right? The Terran player INnoVation, he kept his lead, right? He was ahead. It means that Su couldn't afford to go into the infestation pit. He couldn't afford to go hive. Because of that, he never got off of 2-2 Ling Bane Muta, and he didn't have a swarmy kind of control of the game to maybe make that work. And that's why INnoVation continue to fight here. This Bane and Nest is going down, and this game is going to go to INnoVation. We are going to get a game number 7 of this series. As the Thors are going to fight here, Muta's taking some damage. This is going to be it, guys. This is over. The Muta's obviously fighting to their last stand. GG is called. INnoVation is going to take game number 6. We get to the final map of the series. Oh, yes, we do. Final map in the bottom left side. Our blue Terran tying it up to take us to this ace game. It is INnoVation. He takes on the red Zerg top right, Su. Again, maybe the last time we get to cast Su as he leaves for the military soon. Not sure if he'll be playing in any other online events. Yeah, I'm not sure when he's actually going to the military because I know he obviously was planning to play in GSL, and obviously he got eliminated in the first round of GSL, so it's possible he doesn't go to military for another month or so. So Maybe he plays in another tournament here or there. But it's a very good chance that this may, he might just take a month off before he goes to the military as well, right? That's also a possibility, so yeah. So this is where we stand. soO, can he take down INnoVation? He's had some wins against INnoVation this year. Obviously, the TSL event was one of the ones we kind of think about when it comes to that. That was a great tournament. And that also went to 7 games, all 2, right? That also went to all 7 maps. These two have always just been a good match for each other through the years, but this year especially, it's been a really fun series to watch. And this edition of this series of these two fighting each other has been absolutely no different. It's been spectacular. Really fun back and forth games, right? Lots of macro, not too much cheese, nothing early. Like, soO hasn't really been aggressive all series long. He's been pretty passive, really. He's really done nothing at all to be like overly aggressive and to end the game early. One Ice and Chrome, obviously, final map of the series. Big map. A lot of players started out playing mech on this map. As mech became less popular because of... The thing is, mech was good on this map, but the thing is, the counter to mech play that arose, that kind of mass muta style, is even better on this map because of how many bases and how large it is. So it kind of it was a double whammy hit to mech. Like, not only did mech get bad because a good style against it was figured out, but on this map, that style is just even more effective. So a lot of players have gone back to just playing Bio and Ice and Chrome. We've not really seen mech. We do still see mech from some of the Europeans, but in Korea especially, we've not really seen mech on this map in a good long while, apart from maybe a random game on TY or something. As we do just see the start of this fight, a few lings going in. Reaper, a bit of back and forth action. Factory about to finish up from INnoVation here. The command center is going to be finishing on the natural as well. Here we're going to fight with the Queen as we do see the ling speed coming up. It's about halfway done. Just going to see our starport in the main base. This barracks is going to fly back into the center as well. Just going to be seeing the couple of Hellions on the way out from INnoVation. So they're going to rally out into the map. Overlord of soO just hanging out overhead, of course. And hey, Reaper, continue to move around, continue to see what else is going on. A couple drones going to jump into the extractor over here. And it's a grenade to kind of scare the Queen and the lings away. Just nice quick stim from INnoVation, so nothing really too weird about that. Just something we've seen from him earlier today too. Really has enjoyed just going into fast bio, taking a third CC behind it and then playing from there. Hey, no third CC though, right? And he goes for an extra barracks before he goes 3 CC. That's the weird part of this. Wow, so he's actually going for a bit of a 2-base build. He'll build 1 engineering bay and not a second engineering bay. The thing is, soO, he doesn't actually see the lack of a third CC over here yet. But he should by the barracks time and be like, huh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, INnoVation's going to try and hit a pretty aggressive 2-base build order initially, and the scout from soO is good, I think, to at least give him a little bit of initial identification as to what's going on here. Couple Hellions and the Reaper around that right-hand side. Just going to be seeing a couple of Queens setting up on the right as well. Creep spread pushing forward, +1 attack on the engineering bay. There's a couple of racks coming through. Our drones all producing a couple of evos, so soO can get up to that set of upgrades already now. No less, so no fast Spire, no fast Mutalist here. Just wants to play the upgrade game. It's going to be really interesting because this attack of INnoVation is going to come in against no Baneling speed, so it's going to be a little bit tough in that regard. It might even hit before 1-1. If he can hit before 1-1, obviously no Bane speed in play, the advantages he has in the fight are huge, but he needs to do damage in that moment. With no 3CC behind this, he's putting everything on the line for this initial attack. That's going to be coming through, going to be done fairly shortly. The Hellions coming forward and picking away at the Queen just a little bit, so some damage being done there. The Viking down to the bottom left. Queens, Lings all setting up. And he hasn't really let these Hellions through to do any damage. They've not really picked away at anything. That's important, I think, for soO. He needs to preserve everything possible to be able to make this upcoming fight good for him, right? You need everything possible here to make this work out. As the lair comes up, the Baneling nest behind this third base, and just going to be seeing the Hellions coming back through, picking away at a Creep Tumor already. So Creep Tumor goes down. The Queen's bouncing around a little bit on that bottom side, trying to figure out where they want to go. Glad from soO finishes up, and we do have the Lings out around to the left. Marines and tanks making their way to the bottom of the map, and this is the push. I mean, he's going to build a 3cc behind it, but that's a late third. You need to do some damage here. You've not harassed early with kind of, you know, Liberator or Medevac or anything. So this push is the one that's meant to do some damage. It's meant to slow things down. soO gets in for a nice run by full surround on the Marines. The tank move command, and it's going to be surrounded, taken down as well. So the reinforcements of INnoVation are in trouble, as these Lings are just going to keep on killing everything. They're going to get to the mineral line in a moment, and SCVs will start to drop. The Medevac will try to heal them, but there are going to be some kills over there. This maybe buys soO the few extra seconds to get 1-1 upgrades. INnoVation's trying to push in before that, but 1-1 will be done. Two tanks get into an annoying position. Not fun to clean those out for sure. The Lings actually re-engage in right now. There's still not that many Marines. He's killed 5 SCVs. That number's rising. soO's going to send more Lings across the map, maybe seeing the opportunity. If that depot raises, however, you can obviously shut that down. You can stop that attack happening right away. Hellions coming through, a lot of these drones going down. Lings get in, INnoVation's not paying attention, so the run-by is going to be good for round 2. And it's going to be really good at cleaning up these extra reinforcements that have just shown up. Oh, the tank can just reach some of these Lings in the back. The splash is good. Wow. Clutch defense from INnoVation as he does get on top of the third base. No drones over here, but there's a base to the left side that is mining. I don't think soO's so worried about losing this base, but he would be worried about losing the Spire and the Baneling nest. Of course, at this point, he's bought the time to get up to the Baneling speed, so now he's going to crash in with the speed banes. One of the tanks were unsieged. Well, only one Medevac to lift up and get stuff out of there. Mutas are on the way as well. They'll hunt down Medevacs in the near future, no matter what. Yeah, soO loses a base on the right side, but INnoVation's not got his own third CC up in position just yet, so I don't think it's all that bad. And soO rallies his Mutas out, joins them together, and soO's actually just going to re-expand to the top and the right side. So double expanding here, looking to go up to 5 bases, if at all possible. INnoVation goes back down the bottom left. Mutas moving around from soO. You have +1 armor already on the engineering bay, and that's obviously going to be what's lacking here, right? Because it was a single engineering bay instead of the double engineering bay initially. And that was because it was this 2-base attack. Now Mutas are showing up, and Mutas are going to make this annoying because INnoVation is not in a setup that wants to sit back and defend in the slightest. He wants to keep on pushing. He wants to keep on dealing damage, but yeah, I mean, now these Mutas are just going to force him to kind of decide if this attack is all in or not, really. He only loses 5 SCVs, but it's still damage being taken, right? It's still, you know, Mutas are camping out production, so it's very possible that this attack of INnoVation kind of just becomes all in here. Reinforcements not allowed to join up. These Creep Tumors are going to continue spreading out. Tanks are sieging. Creep Tumor gets picked off. The few Marines joining together. Mutas do make it back home, ready for this large attack as soO's ready to come in from 2 angles. Still up an upgrade, remember. No armor on these Marines. Mutas fly in. The tanks get taken down pretty quickly. The Banes are hunting the Marines. soO's going to push INnoVation back yet again. Oh no, he's in trouble because he's got reinforcements here. Can soO just keep on pushing through this? As Siege Tank took a long time to get sieged up. The Banes are going to reach a lot of the Marines as well on both sides. The tank is down, and that will do it. INnoVation has no option other than to type out a GG, and soO will take the 4-3 victory. I mean, that's awesome. I think if this is our last time we get to cast soO, it's really nice to see him going out on a win, especially against his rival INnoVation. He has been a rival of INnoVation for years upon years. What a series. 7 really awesome maps of StarCraft 2. Some very different stuff all the way throughout. soO takes it down 4-3. GG's well played, and he wins this little AlphaX tournament.